Oh, cool. That's the first time.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to You Are the Operant Power with Gail and
Jane, hi.
hi,
Sorry,
Jane.
something just came up on my screen. It came up that we're recording and it doesn't usually do that. It usually just goes right into it.
Yeah, we've moved into a new reality.
Yay! We're being
um,
watched.
so today I wanted to just follow up a little bit to our video that we did last week on the subconscious purse, which if you haven't seen it, I'll put the link down below. And the point was, well, there's a couple of points actually. In case I wasn't clear, I was using the objects, apples and oranges, as representative for sort of the beliefs that fit for you now, and the old beliefs that have memories and everything attached to them. Those being the oranges, the apples being the who I am now beliefs. And the reason why I chose inanimate objects is that if you can recognize something when you're, going through your life and something comes up and hits you in the face that really doesn't fit with who you believe yourself to be now, if you can just automatically recognize that as, oh, an orange. Well, I don't think that way anymore. I don't believe that way anymore. And then replace it with what fits for you now. Then you can just kind of move on with your life. By identifying specifically what that is, has a tendency to take you down the rabbit hole of that experience again, feeling the emotion, all of those things that the memories made you feel. It's just going to take you down where you don't want to go. And to be clear, if there's emotions attached, if there's sadness, loss, and tears start to come, like by all means, you feel your emotions, you just don't attach them to anything. You're crying because you're crying, you're sad because you're sad. I feel lost because I feel like whatever it is, just don't attach any stories to it, because crying especially tends to be intense. And if you're attaching it to something, then you're recreating that. And
Yeah.
that's really what you want to do.
Okay, so I had that experience this week basically where judgment split me in two with somebody else, and they were telling me something that didn't align, and it brought up a lot of emotion. So I actually processed that and came to the conclusion that I wasn't thinking in a unity. Like, remember I was saying unity came up for me, the word unity, because we've been doing harmony, unity, and love. So it was actually in that sort of space that I was able to recover my, okay, don't attach a narrative to it, feel it, let it move through you, whatever it is. And it actually made me feel like accepting that it's an orange in the moment when it's coming at me.
If it's very easy. If it's not what you want, or it's not your feeling where that's not where you want to be, then it's an orange. There's no analyzing required. It's either an orange or an apple. And I think you've frozen. So we'll just go on. So I just wanted to clarify that. Jane will be back, I'm sure. And the other thing is, you want to put as least effort as you can into this. So the whole, did I do it? I'm trying to do this. Did I do it? I'm not sure if I did it. If you do it, then you did it. Don't put effort into it. I'm just saying, Jane, welcome back. I was just saying that with all of this stuff, I think it's really important that you understand that you put the least effort you can into it. So if that's an orange, I don't think that way anymore, I think like this, it's done. No, don't start questioning, did I do it? I'm not sure if I did it right. I don't know, I need to do it again. Because the more effort you put into it, you're just giving energy to the very thing that you don't want, and you're recreating it. So you get the opposite effect that you want. Oh, your audio.
Am I good now?
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay, so normally that works, but in this case, it was something that I resisted. So something was said to me and I resisted it. I didn't go, oh, that's an orange. I went,
Right.
that should be an apple.
Well,
Basically.
okay, yeah, but and I guess that's kind of the whole point of sharing sort of my thoughts on this is, what if you did just automatically say, oh, an orange?
Yes.
Okay, so what does an orange mean? An orange means, that's all, that's what's coming into your life that you don't want. And it's not there to cause a fight. It's not there to cause an inner battle. It's there because imagination's like, are you sure you're believing this? Because before you believe this, which is
Yes.
and it's just for clarification. So if you can like take all the stories away from it, just make it very matter of factly. Oh, an orange. Well, I used to think like that. I don't anymore. Now I know this. But
Yes.
move on with it.
Yes.
You think you have to do, the more you will have to do.
Yes.
Whatever you believe and think is what it is.
Yes. Definitely. I felt that energetically this week, but I managed to really recover the whole idea that all is well,
Yeah.
harmony, unity, and love. I did some
The other thing is, and this may help with what you're talking about. Oh, it just dropped right out of my mind.
harmony, unity, and love.
No.
When something comes up and you're trying to reframe it,
No. Oh, well, it'll come back to me.
not attach a narrative to it.
No. Oh, well, it'll come back to me. We'll move on. Oh, and you froze again. Okay, so now the main topic for today I thought we would talk about is anxiety. Maybe in a little bit different way than it's often talked about. And again, we're trying to, understand why we're reacting, why we're doing what we're doing, because the more we can understand why we're doing it, if it doesn't fit with us, it's a lot easier to change. So just to give you an example. Oh, hi, Jane, welcome back. Yep, volume, mute, unmute.
Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah. So also, how would I say it? It had been what happened was that I actually initiated my focus on what I didn't want triggered a multitude of like a chain reaction. Like I'd do one and then another one would come and so it started to feel more like
Okay, Jane seems to be having problems today. But to that note, we'll go on to the anxiety in a minute. The thought came back to me. Persist. Even if it doesn't feel like you change the orange and nothing really feels any different, persist in believing that you changed it. Because what basically is happening is your purse is full of oranges. The oranges are coming up to be recognized as no longer you, changed into apples. And as soon as you get more apples than you do oranges in your purse, then that's when you're going to start noticing real changes in your reality. Unmute.
I think I am.
Okay. I was just saying quickly that I remembered what I had forgotten there, and it's about persistence, because it doesn't seem like it's working. You've done it. And all that that's happening is that you have more oranges in your subconscious purse than you do apples. And as long as you keep changing, persistent changing, whether you feel a difference or not, persistent changing, those you'll grow, you'll end up with more apples than oranges. And that's when you start to, like for me, it was like I woke up one day and I'm like, oh wow, like I just feel different. And I look at things and it's like, oh, that doesn't even trigger me anymore. And I didn't see change in certain areas for a while, but I just kept pursuing. Well, even if it doesn't feel like it's working, it's working. And again, it takes you deciding, making a decision. This is how I'm going to deal with things. Oranges come up. I don't think that way. I think like this, and move on. And,
Yes.
and if the emotions come up, feel the emotions.
Yeah.
Attach them to anything. You need to cry, cry. You need to scream,
Yeah.
scream, but don't, whatever you're going to attach to those tears, the anger, the frustration, the screaming is what you're going to create. And with that kind of intensity, you're going to create it fast.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking about that in my reaction, because my reaction was pretty intense. So I was like, I don't think like that anymore. After I would say a few things, I don't think like that.
Yeah. Well, what's
Lord,
interesting, you say
revised it.
that, you're saying that it was really intense. And earlier you were saying like it set off like a chain of events like this. That's how it works. That you manifested those things really
Yeah.
because of the intensity.
Yes. Yes.
And it's like a rabbit
Okay.
hole. It's hard to get out of that once you get in it. So don't even bother going in it. Recognize it. No, I don't think that way anymore. It's an orange. I don't think that way anymore. Change it into an apple by giving your new belief, and move on.
Yes.
If you need to cry, cry, but refocus on something else and do it every time it comes up. If it's one of those really tough ones to get rid of, that every time, no, that's an orange. I already changed that to an apple.
Yeah.
I'm not accepting.
Yeah.
No, I don't accept that anymore because I now think this, or I now believe this. Okay.
Okay.
While you were gone, one of those times I had started talking, just that we were going to be talking about anxiety. And
Oh yeah.
it's not necessarily going to be in a way that a lot of people talk about it, I don't think. And we're more focused on trying to get to the root and understanding, because once you have the understanding, it's a lot easier to change things. So just an example, I had a client that has had a lot of things come up recently, some physical issues, and been trying to focus on health and, not been able to do it. And which of course just feeds what she doesn't want, because the worry is feeding whatever she's identifying as herself as, right? Which is the illness. So anyways, we were talking and a couple of things came up to me, and just sort of out of the blue. And I said to her, all this anxiety, because she was saying that, what if I die? What if I don't live? And I'm like, whoa, hold on. Like, what if, you cross the street and have a great time across the street? Like you can't use what ifs because they're all imaginings. Like stop imagining that stuff. And of course, that's all part of anxiety, right? Wanting to control and have control of every single thing in the future. And trust me, I get that whole control thing, because I used to, I had to look at every single scenario and have a way to deal with the worst case scenario before I could be like, okay, I'm good. Not realizing that I was creating all of that at the time. But anyways, what had occurred to me with her is, and we've talked about it before, about making judgments of other people. And in, the whole people that are awake, sheep, like all of those communities, there's often a lot of judgments put on people because they're not doing what you know to be true. That's the truth. The government's after you. If you can't see it, you're a sheep and you're just bringing us all down. You know, how dare you bring it? And there's just a lot of judgments made. And I get it. I'm not making a judgment on them because we're all where we are on our path and it's all about learning. But what I said to her is like, because I've said this to her numerous times and, you know, she works on it and then falls back into old habits and works on it and falls back. And I said, well, you've been doing a lot of judging of people. And have you been thinking when you're making those judgments, do you have any compassion for them? In not sympathy, but compassion in like, what are they going through? You know, with what they're doing, what are they experiencing? And I said, you know, when you make judgments, you experience both sides of the judgment. So where you've made the judgment, you've experienced that side. And now you're experiencing the other side. Because do you think that they would feel anxiety? What if they, you know, chances are good they're feeling the anxiety of, you know, what if I don't get the vaccine? I have to get the vaccine. Oh my God, there's that virus thing out there that's really scary and it's, you know, going to attack me and it's going to take my life and everybody else's life and you know, all that. I'm not even going to go into all of the anxiety that people have. But I said, like, what? They're probably feeling the exact same way. They're not showing it to you, but in behind closed doors in their house, they're probably feeling the exact same way that you do. So I think it's just when you can't sort of figure out what the anxiety is for, like where did it come from? It's your experience of the other side of a judgment that you've made.
Yes.
Can recognize that.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's exactly what happened to get me back into good was that I actually, because I told you unity was one of the words that was I was having difficulty. And as soon as I started thinking, oh my gosh, what must they feel like? Like what's going on over there instead of like, you know, trying to navigate what was going on with me. And then as soon as I started doing that, I was like, oh, okay. So like I could totally be misreading what's even being said.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as soon as I took my mind out of that and let it go and thought, okay, well, it doesn't matter. Harmony, unity, and love, everything's good. I'll just, you know, sit in that for a while and you know, persist in that thought. And it's been going a lot better the last
Well,
couple of days.
and in I'm assuming that when you say you're sitting in that thought, I mean, what you're really doing is lifting them
Yes.
out of that. Because
Yes.
judgment on others is a judgment
Yes.
on yourselves, right? So if you're feeling
Yeah.
all this anxiety and you can't get out of it, it's because you're judging yourself.
Yes.
Why do you think that you're going to, you know, the what if I die? What if?
Yes.
Why do you think that? Why not think, what if I really have a good time across the street when I go say hi to my neighbor?
Right. Yes.
You know? And that's all part of your internal conversation. So once you're able to, you know, forgiveness always is the first thing, but also lift them and see them differently, then you're freeing up yourself.
Yes.
Able to have compassion for yourself.
Yes.
And I just thought that was really powerful, a powerful example, because that absolutely is what's going on, is you think you're not harming others. You think you're not harming yourself, like to take a stand,
Yes.
I'm going to do this, nobody controls me and all that sort of thing. You think that's the empowered way.
Yes.
And absolutely decide what you want. But there's a responsibility with that for yourself to ensure that you're not reacting to others in a way that is really not empowered.
Yes.
To
And
judge them is not being empowered. Your response is coming from fear, and I'm not doing this, and this.
right. And self-love, the self-love part came up for me, which I've been residing more in now. Like, there was this idea that I needed love from out there. That's what the judgment almost was like coming from, was I needed love, I needed affirmation. And so I started doing that with myself after I started to regulate okay, so let's, forget about that. Where am I here? So it actually turned into just loving myself. And self-love's a weird thing because it seems like an easy thing. Like, oh yeah, of course I love myself. Like, but it's trickier when you're dealing with other people in relationship to you.
Well, they're
Like,
showing you what
right.
they feel about you. So
Yes.
when you have trouble with
Yes.
self-love, then
Yes.
in your mind, give love. And what
Yes.
it means to give love, that would be forgiveness. That would be seeing them as you want them to be.
Yes.
That is a gift to yourself, because then that allows you to do that for yourself.
Yeah.
The other insight I had, which I mean, it sounds sort of cliche, but it sort of hit me today, is that it's not so much, because she brought up, what if I die? It's not so much about her dying, but about her being afraid to live.
Mm.
That sounds very cliche, and I don't mean for that, but there's so much change that all of us, I mean, she is no different. This is an example I'm using, but she is like, we all experience this. Everybody's on the same path, different experience,
Yeah.
but the same experiences. And so there's a fear, I think, of changing and giving all up that she knows is miserable. And as much as she hates it, it's familiar. And I don't know
Yes.
what is over here.
Yes.
If I, kind of give all of that up.
Yes.
And I just think that that's probably a pretty good question if you're having anxiety and just feeling really uncomfortable. Like, am I afraid to live? Because right now, as it is, we're really not living. We're, dead. Really, I mean, not dead in the sense of, well, we die every day. But we're not, when we're not coming from a place of feeling our power and living with our power. And that's not a power over anybody else, but a power over
internal power. Yes.
That's right. Yeah. Until we're doing that, we're not really on the road to living.
Yes.
On the road of whatever existing, riding everybody else's wave in the ocean. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Would want to ponder when anxiety comes up, because sometimes you're looking at it and you just can't figure out, like, I don't know where this comes. Like, I don't know why I'm feeling this. And those are just two avenues that, to think about, ponder.
Yes.
As possible sources of the anxiety. The judgment thing, it's so important to recognize, because judgment is in everything. And we don't always recognize it's a judgment. And so we have to take the time to look at our thoughts and well, what does that mean? Like, what would that be someone to say about me? What I
and it also
that about me.
Self-love is also a powerful feeling. So if I'm outsourcing my power at any time, I'll feel weak within my own self. And then as soon as I start inner sourcing that power and looking at what I need to do for myself, it starts to return.
Yeah, yeah. I hesitate to use the word self-love, and funny you bring it up because I was just thinking this the other day for the very reason that you said earlier. Like it's like people think they do. Like that's just,
Yes, yes,
I do. Like I think it just creates sort of a ceiling where
yes.
nothing more because I do.
It's more self-awareness, I would say then,
Yeah.
I would think.
So that was all I wanted to mention today. Did you have anything before we go, or how long we're going on?
Was there anything? No, I think that's it.
Okay, super. So thank you everybody for joining us. Don't forget we have the Harmony, Unity, and Love Challenge. I think we're just going to leave that ongoing. If you have anything to share, please do. I'll put that video below as well. And subscribe, share if you think somebody can benefit from it. And we'll talk to you all soon. See ya.
Bye, Gail.